Welcome to another episode of The Profile. I'm Gary Dunn. He's Mike Vdelli.
I am.
He's sitting in that chair and I'm sitting in this chair. It's a guitar frenzy night. Always love having guitar players in. Hello, Mike.
No, great, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Do you mind if I call you Michael or Mike or
Whatever you like, mate.
Yeah.
One of those will be fine.
one of those?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with where were you born?
St John of God Hospital in Subiaco.
Yep.
Yep, 1972.
And school?
Balcatta, Kindy.
Notorious.
East
Balcatta
Claremont,
Kindy.
Yeah, then I went to East Claremont Primary. And then I went to Hollywood High for year 8. And then I went to Christchurch from year 9 to 12.
Wow. So what was the moment in your life where you said to yourself, I'm going to play guitar? Can you remember that time?
I didn't pick it up till about I was 13.
Yeah.
And I went on a school camp, Hollywood High School, and this kid had a George Thorogood cassette, and we were listening to it, and I heard the gear jammer, the slide guitar, and I went, oh, that sounds, well, I don't know what that is, that's pretty cool. And then I saw Bryan Adams doing a song with Tina Turner, and then the whole band stopped. I think it's called It's Only Love or something.
Yep.
And it stops, and he's got this black strat, and he's just going, jan, jan, jan. I went, oh, that looks really cool. And then after I saw AC/DC doing, I think, A Whole Lot of Rosie or something, and I just saw Malcolm Young just stand there doing that, I went, ah. And I since haven't really... George Thorogood is not one of my favourite people now, but his sound really caught my ear as a teenager. I never heard that. I always had my dad's band rehearsing and stuff, and mum's records, dad's records, and my uncle's records. I had a lot of his 78s. He had Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Bill Haley and stuff on 78s, which I loved. But I never really heard that slide sound. That's what caught my ear.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, first band in 1986 was the Wildebeests.
Wildebeests.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Or
Yeah, I can. We were all mates at school. Simon Blake, Paul Chevelle, Paul Stokes was playing drums, who came to the gig the other night, couldn't believe it, first drummer.
Wow.
And Paul Chevelle got replaced by Benji Keane and then Carl Jensen. But initially it started at Simon Blake, who's probably my first guitar hero.
Yeah. We
were the same age, and I remember going to his place and he just opened his case and there was this Fender Mustang in there. And it was like the most beautiful thing I ever seen, and he could play it. Yeah. You know, I couldn't play anything at all. I couldn't play any, and he was just playing this stuff. And he goes, look, I'll show you how to play the rhythm so then he could play the lead part. And so Dad had an acoustic, and I sort of commandeered that, and he just showed me how to play what he wanted me to play to play solos over it. So that's kind of how I started, and then we got a little band together and organised some town hall gigs at Claremont Town Hall and School Hall, and some of them, you know, I remember actually rehearsing once at Stokes' house. I remember the first time we were writing an original. I think it was G, D, A minor, C was original. Yeah. And we hit the chorus all at the same time. We actually hit the note all together that very first time, and just felt the power. I just went, oh my God, you know, we never did it again. It only lasted that 1 second. But that kept us going for months, just that we've got to get back to that. And then we realised, you know, about rushing and speeding up, being, you know, that kind of stuff. And that was really exciting. I still, when I think about that, I still, you know, as good as it gets, really, that sort of innocent excitement about being together.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, so the little gang.
Yeah, so you
awesome.
don't have to be the greatest players.
No, just do it together.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Exactly.
And then it's kind of all the other stuff, whatever your stress is, whatever, it just doesn't matter because you're in the band.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're going somewhere in your mind, you think you're going to go somewhere.
And you're in the moment.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Otherwise, when you're not, you're thinking about bills or the wife or this or that, the girlfriend or
it was,
how many women you've got last week and all that sort of stuff.
I never had that problem, but nah, I'm a bit of a recluse.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
But yeah, it was nice.
If you had played in the 70s.
I know, different era. Like we were just getting drilled about chlamydia and AIDS and don't do anything and make sure you wear a condom and don't go near girls and you're going to catch them. So our generation got really kind of different than the previous generation.
So your dad, Basil, who we all know and love, obviously a big influence in your life. So you got to play with him in Billy and the Kid in 87, I think that was.
And he was actually, Mum was more encouraging to play music. She said, do what you love, son. And I said, Dad was like, don't do music. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he, but after a while, he kind of thought, oh, maybe he's got something. And I would sit in on a couple, he'd have a solo gig, and then I would sit in and play a couple of songs, and he would say, oh, I'll go and listen to B.B. King and check out some of that stuff. And so kind of first time on stage, you know, in a pub and stuff was with him.
Once he accepted that, he steered you down, listen to this, listen
once
to
he
that.
realised I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was kind of right into playing Aussie rules. And so I was kind of going to go pro or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a fork in the road. And anyway, luckily I chose music.
Yeah. You need to be really athletic to be a footballer.
I used to do rowing. I was supposed to be a rower, which I can't believe I did that now when I look back. But that was actually a very important part of me, of who I am, just the mental discipline and keeping form under pressure and being part of a team and rhythmic and, you know, just about timing and not to panic and breathing and just stay cool under pressure and all those kinds of things. I got a lot out of rowing, even though I never really had any interest in it. I was in year 11, I was like the right height and weight for the crew. They missed someone of my height and weight, and so the rowing master said, you know, come and try out, and I just thought, rowing, you sit in the boat and you go like that. You know, but I ended up finding there's a lot more to it. I would urge anyone that's ever thought of trying it to try it, because there's a lot to be gotten out of rowing.
Sitting in a boat going like that,
you don't even use your arms, it's all your legs. And anyway.
So moving on, you moved to Sydney at the age of 18 to pursue music.
Big move.
So I believe it lasted 6 weeks. Was it with a couple of girls you went over there?
Yeah, a couple of girls lived near my house. We were kind of mates. We were kind of tomboyish girls. They were good chicks, and we skipped our exams, actually, our TAE or TE exams, and jumped on the Indian Pacific one-way, sitting up for 3 nights or whatever it is to Sydney, and just got out and went to Potts Point and near that fountain there, and got in a hostel and started, you know, busking, and went to a few auditions, and I went to the Balmain Hotel and watched the band 4-Day Riders there, and asked them, like, I'm so embarrassed now to think about asking, can I get up and jam? I mean, when someone comes up and says, can I get up and jam to me now, I go, mate. Anyway, I did that. And I go, yeah, sure, no worries, kid, you know, and they'd never ever get me up, and I'd be there waiting like an idiot. And anyway, so, saw my first, dead body and my first gun and stuff there, and it was kind of terrifying. And not that I was involved in it, but just busking in the cross, you used to see things go past. And about that time, Dad went back and started living at Rottnest and said, look, there's a bit of a band on the island. They need a guitar player. I can probably get you a gig picking up classes or something. So went back to Rotto and lived there for a couple of years. And
no guns and dead bodies on Rotto?
None that I saw. And probably one of the best couple of years of my life there. It was a real community and great people, and the band that I played with, Stinky Fingers, was the Kieran Glossop, Tony Grieve.
Johnny, can you calm down, please, mate?
We had the Stance troupe that used to dance in shark cages by the side of the stage. And
so obviously Stinky Fingers from Fish, not from what Stormy thinks.
I don't know what he's thinking about. And we had Kieran, the executive chef at the lodge was the drummer, Kieran, and Tony Grieves playing bass, Craig Lathby, who was managing the pub, he was the guitar player. And we played these great shows. We had these magical mystery tour things where you pay $5, get on the bus, get a beer and no one knew where the gig was. And we played at the Guns.
Yeah.
We played City of York Bay. We played at the Dome.
What about Geordie Bay?
We didn't play Geordie Bay. There wasn't anywhere to actually park the truck because the people would come down on the bus and we'd set up on a truck and there'd be fire and everything. And they were just great days. Yeah, just great. And the people that were living there at that little bubble, that little point in time, even now when I see those people, we have a very strong bond with that crew. Yeah,
that's
it's awesome.
great, isn't it?
Yeah,
look back on.
Very lucky.
So, played in Powershift. So that was 1992 to 97. That was obviously.
Well, what happened there was Dad and I was just too close for us because we were just. We love each other and we love playing, but I was at that age where I just don't want to be told what to do.
Family.
And Dad said, right, it's about time for you to start your own band and do your thing. And I said, yeah, never agree with you more. And so Dad came over to the mainland with me and we started a band, we started playing in Perth. So Sam Bruno at Candy Store gave us our first gig. And then we played at the Carrot Up Tavern and we played at Milligan's and we played at a whole bunch of places.
There were lots of places then.
Yeah. And John Kendall from Zap Music, Johnny,
great
he
guy.
saw us playing and he said, look, I think I've got a bit of a band. So as it turns out, he was in a band at the time called House on Fire with Gerard Monique, Mark Greenwood on drums, John and Heather Patterson was singing.
Here's some names you're coming out with now.
And I don't know, the story goes, forgive me, Heather, if it's not true, but apparently she smashed a bottle of scotch on Gerard's head and that broke the band up. And then Gerard had the black coat on.
Heather was, yes.
So Gerard was wearing the black coat and he wasn't playing anymore.
Yeah.
So the first Powershift was Dad, John, Mark Greenwood and myself. And we played the Kwinana Hub Tavern or pub. And then eventually we talked Gerard into joining the band. So Gerard joined the band, Dad left, went back to Roto, and that was Powershift Mark 1. Yeah. And that was a dangerous band. It was very volatile, piece of aggro. No prisoners on stage. Don't dare play anything you played last night and disrespect the crowd or the band. If they had to make something, it had to be fresh and don't make any mistakes. And for me, it was much harder repertoire. Like, it wasn't just playing songs like you had to learn. That was just a big step up for me. Yeah. And that went for a few years. And then Gerard went back to Mauritius or something happened. Anyway, I can't remember exactly the actual transition period there. But then the next lineup was Rick Whittle, Roy Daniel, Bill Blissett, Gerard and myself. And then that band's what we recorded our first album with at Gobbles.
Can someone get the phone, please?
Just tell Mum I'll be home.
Yeah, tell Mum I'll be home soon. So 1997 Vdelli starts, and that's what you're talking about now, how that morphed in with Rick Whittle.
It come from Powershift because that 5-piece, which was pretty good band. It had 3 frontline singers, and and the album that we recorded with that band was a good album. It sounded really good. We spent a lot of money on it for the time. And
didn't you rip the desk out of Planet and take it up to Gobbles? And
yeah, well, I said to Vdelli how much do you want to take the desk up to Gobbles and then record, the album up there? And he goes, $3,000. I said, all right. I didn't have any money. Yeah. So we needed 600 people at $5. Yeah. Right, and about 10 minutes before we went on, Nick Tatunzis, who's a mate of mine, he came up and said, you got 615 people.
Oh, great.
And I said, yes.
So because I was
going, how am I going to find this money if I also put the cart before the horse? Anyway, it all
worked out.
It worked
Perfect.
out. Worked out. So that was the first album.
Yeah.
And then Planet got bought by the Japanese, and then they offered me a deal as a solo artist. And at that time, I was playing with Roy Martinez and Paul Mabry and Tony Borthwick in a side project called The Blue Thing. Yeah. And I think they thought I was going to use that band.
That was Heather on the phone. Heather Patterson. But this isn't going live, so how would she know?
Well,
Very
it's
funny,
telepathic.
Guys. Yeah, okay.
She's sweet. I really like Heather.
Likewise. Yeah.
And I can't remember what I was saying.
We're talking about the $3,000.
Oh yeah, that thing, and then I got to deal with Planet with the Japanese, and then they thought I was going to come in with a blue thing. Rick and Roy came back from a tour with Dave Hole. They did a 3-month tour, and they got off the plane. They looked like two wobbles. They were really fat. What have you been eating? They go, "Oh, can get donuts and coffee over there." These two little fat guys. I said, "All right." Anyway, so we started. We took them into the studio with Vdelli, and that was the first album, and it was great because I got to had a fallout with Vdelli, and then I ended up working with Les in Studio Z for the best part of a year, just learning about recording and microphones and preamps and patch bays, and they had that first sort of, it was called Sadie. It was like a Pro Tools predecessor. And you put a reverb on it, and then you have to press a button that says render, and then you go outside for like 45 minutes while this reverb goes on the thing, and then you go, "No, I don't like that," and then delete, and then so just it's a very long process.
Nowadays you just get bing.
Yeah, it's awesome now. Well, from that side of editing.
Yeah.
And that was the first album anyway. So, and I had a great time with Les, and he taught me a lot of stuff.
So would you say you stole Dave Hole's rhythm section or?
No, because they were working with me. I mean, they were his, like when I was not born, they were playing with him, and then so that's why I kind of had to get the blue thing together, because Dave offered them a 3-month tour. Yeah. And I just said, "Hey, you got to go, no worries." And I had this blue thing, so I did that. But then when they came back, they were eating too many donuts. No, it just was funny.
Have you got some material on the octopus for us?
Rick Whittle?
Yes.
How long have you got? No, Rick and I've played with Rick since about 94 till last night. Oh, yeah. I played with him. Yep.
Well, this show won't go on for probably 8 weeks, so
I'll be back.
That was 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah,
but,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. But, well, my most recent gig, as I speak. But I've learned probably more from Rick than I've learned from anybody. Yeah. And he's the most professional player that I've played with. He's also on occasions ultra difficult. Yeah. And he'd probably say the same about me. Yeah. But I have the highest respect for him, and we're very frank. Yeah. So there's nothing with him. We've slept on floors and slept in 7-star hotels and everything in between. Yeah. For a long, long time. Yeah. And done a lot of miles together, and kind of got somewhere a little bit, doing our thing. But Rick Whittle, I think he's one of the best drummers in the world. I mean, I've seen if you had to pick 50 drummers in the world, I think he would be up there. Yeah, yeah. He's monstrous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so many good musicians come out of Perth, don't they?
Well,
world class. Yeah.
I think so. I think one of the problems is that in the past they made too much money, so they never left. Yes. They never went anywhere. Yeah. So they got all these guys made good livings, could buy a house, and I mean, you could. Dad said you could go to the bank in the 70s and become a musician and get a loan. Yeah, yeah. I think now if I went in there, they'd say, "Security, get this guy out of here."
That's okay.
But I think when I said all the guys that I've met through Dad and stuff, and I just think, man, why didn't you go to New York or but it was probably in a way a bit comfortable here.
Yeah, and now it's not comfortable. We can't get any gigs, but we're too old.
Well, you're never too old, mate. Never too old. But you got to, I suppose, you got to get out there.
So, Germany. So a friend of yours who played with Infrared.
Yeah, Matt Whitten.
Yeah, yeah. I think Matt got up and did the Gobbles guitar.
He won it.
Yeah, that's right.
He won it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
he had long hair and.
Yeah, he actually played bass in the band for a while.
Right. Yeah.
I met Matt at Ralph Berman's place. I was over there having a coffee. Smiling.
Ralphie gets a mention finally.
Ralphie. Never forget, mate. So I'm around at Ralph's. Matt comes in. Hey, how you going, Matt? I never really knew Matt. I'd seen him around, but never really knew him. And he said, I said, "What are you doing?" Blah, 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 blah. Look, if you ever want to come to Germany, I can get you a gig. And I said, "All right, you book a gig, I'll come." He goes, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll come. I can't keep playing in the same venues forever." And then he rang and said, "Look, I've got 3 gigs. Will you come?" And I said, "Yeah." So Rick and Roy, I can't remember if it was Roy or Peter Oates. It may have been Peter Oates.
Peter Oates,
actually,
probably,
at that point, the first tour. And apologies if I mucked that up. It's a long time ago.
Yep.
And we went there and we played our 3 gigs and we got 2 reviews in the newspaper that were very, very good, and we lost money. But then the next year we had 10 gigs, and the next year we had 20 gigs, and then it built up to we had 59 gigs in 60 days or 64 days, which nearly killed the band. It was really hard yakka.
So since then you've been going back. Well, you live there.
I live there now because I was going back twice a year, and it's just too far to go. Did
you bump into Alan Pethers over there?
I have bumped into Al in Dresden. It was a while ago, and it's always a pleasure to bump into Al. He's a very, very funny man.
He always says the German girls behave.
Yeah, well, they make you behave too.
Yeah.
I've got one, I'm engaged to one now.
I thought he said they shave. But
no, they don't shave.
He said they behave.
Shave you.
Okay. We won't go there, okay. So you've recorded 20 albums over 22 years. An amazing feat, Michael. And
well, you have to.
Something you must be proud of.
I'm out of all the 20 albums, there's probably about half a dozen songs I'm proud of.
Yeah.
And the rest of them I just can't listen to them because I want to change stuff, or I wish I didn't do double that bit. I should have halved that. I should have done this. I wish I didn't sing that. But the thing is that to tour you need a product to sell, because every other band on the road's got a new CD and they got new T-shirts and they got new hats and they got new this. So if you go on the road and you don't have a product, no one's going to come. So that was the driving force behind making that many albums. And I'm not necessarily a prolific songwriter. I do like writing songs when I feel like it, but I prefer.
What are the best times to write them?
Well, that's the only time I feel like writing.
When you're down.
I prefer to react. Like I prefer to have musicians around me that play something, and I hear something and I can react to it. That's probably what I'm best at, rather than being the instigator of stuff. But I found that, I have to be driven. Sometimes if I've got 10 songs and no lyrics, I'll just sit there and work on it. It'll come up, or I need a guitar part or something.
What was your most successful album?
Well, a friend of mine who wishes to remain anonymous gave me $100,000 and said, why aren't you famous yet? And I said, well, it's not because I'm not trying. I said, you need a proper album produced.
Can you give me their number after the show?
Can give it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we ended up booking a guy called Kevin Caveman Shirley, who is a famous producer. He's done Led Zeppelin and Iron Maiden and you name it, Black Crows, and he does Joe Bonamassa now. And he was coming to Perth and da-da-da-da. So anyway, we spent a lot of money on this album, and it sounded great. And we recorded it here at Kingdom Studios with Dom down there, and because he wanted a Neve console, and there was one in Perth, and it was really hot January, and that we were doing it was like very, very hot weather. Anyway, we recorded this album, and the playing and stuff is okay. It's not it's not like I go, wow, that's my best, but the sound and just the way he could pull it together was just okay. That's why that guy's that much money. It's just the way he would do stuff like play the song to me once, you find a tempo, you get a click track, play the song once, he goes, right, go away. Then he comes back, edits it, rearranges the song, goes, right, that's not how it goes. So you got to relearn the arrangement. Then you play the song 5 or 6 times, and then he'll say, well, that's the best intro, that's the best first verse, that's the best chorus, and then he cuts and pastes the whole thing together seamlessly, and then it's just, everything just go, oh, is that us? And
what album was that?
That's called Ain't Bringing Me Down.
Ain't Bringing Me Down?
Yeah, and we got a record deal with that one.
So where can people buy your albums?
Online.
Yep.
And Mills.
Yep.
I'm not sure about 78s, possibly there, but Mills for sure, and online. But when we were shopping it around, we got a record deal with it, so it paid off. Yeah. And because he produced it, we had the most interest, so it was in all the magazines and
Mark's
everything.
pulling funny faces.
Is it?
No. He's a bit of a midget tonight. Look at him.
So that gamble kind of paid off, because I wasn't quite sure how to spend. I mean, in the end, I probably would have been better off spending $5,000 on the album and $95,000 on promotion. Yeah. Looking back at it, because in the end, that's all that matters. Yeah.
The promotion.
It's just
branding
is the promotion. So I thought, if I put a really good album out, someone will care. But it definitely moved us up a level.
So branding, and we were talking about this earlier. Guitars, like you got endorsed by Gibson. They would give you guitars on tour.
Yeah.
But you were telling me your favourite guitars are Tokai now.
Yeah.
And they endorse you, Tokai?
Yeah, I was with Gibson and that was, I had like a B endorsement or C endorsement where they don't sort of, there's no Michael Vdelli,
run away with
Gibson,
it, yeah.
but they say, okay, here you can use these for touring and stuff. And that was cool, you know, and I was really happy to be with Gibson. I mean, you know, it was a bit of a dream come true. And then Quinn Beardman, who's a friend of mine.
I know Quinn.
You know Quinn, yeah.
Is he still down south?
No, I think he's up north.
Is he up
now.
north?
Yeah, he's up north. He's a chameleon.
Yeah, yes.
But he was good enough to put my name forward to them, and then they saw some videos and stuff. And,
excellent.
And then they said, look, take these 3 guitars, and if you don't like them, give them back. And if you do like them, you know, would you mind just using them, you know? And so I used, as soon as I picked them up, I said, oh, you know, the balance was perfect and they sit in the right position.
One-piece neck.
One-piece neck, and just, and you can look on the wood on the back. And I mean, Gibson make guitars like that, but you got to get a custom shop one or real top of the line. And the Tokais were just mega. So I was reluctant because I was, you know, a bit immature in a way because I just, on the top it doesn't say Gibson.
It's branding. Well, that's what we just talked about.
And so once I got my head over that, and a lot of people, because it kind of looks like it says Gibson Les Paul, it actually says Tokai Love Rock. Yeah. Right? And a lot of people don't know, go, I love your Les Paul. And I said, well, actually, it's a Tokai, and this is and they go, oh, and it catches people by surprise. And a few young bands over in Germany have actually bought them because of the band. So I'm kind of happy about that because I wouldn't want to think that they gave me these guitars and I wasn't actually selling any. So, but I know that there's a few guys that have bought them after seeing the band. So
yeah. Well, I've always known Tokai made in Japan to be
they're really good.
Nice instruments.
They're very, very
really well
good.
made.
Yeah, I can't complain about the construction or quality of the workmanship or the parts.
And you love Gibson, but it just seems like, again, you know, if you buy a handbag with a name on it, you pay $10,000. Yeah. And, you know,
I think the custom shop stuff's still really good. I think,
absolutely.
But I think that the run of the mill stuff, it's been better in the past. Let's put it that way.
Yep. So you live in Hamburg these days, and can you name some of the big festivals? Because I believe Germany's really big on music festivals.
There's just heaps of them. The biggest festival that we've ever played was actually in Sweden Rock. Yeah. And I actually played it, I think the first one with Dave Hole in like 98 or 99. And then we got booked to play there in 2012, and it's just massive. It's just massive.
What, how many people, for instance?
80,000 people or something. I don't know exactly, but it's massive. They've got 2 huge, humongous stages. Like the people are like that big, and then they've got these screens like this. And we were really lucky, and then they've got these side stages. So they've got the main band playing, and then a band will play in the middle, and then another band plays, and as they're switching over. And we were playing just a perfect time. I think it was after Bad Company and before Motley Crue or something. Yeah. So it was just heaps of people, and we had a great show. And then 2 years later, the record company said, you know, can we get the guys on? And they said, no, you have to play every 4 years. And then Lee Miller, a bass player in our band, and Mark Rana, who's our booker, they wanted to enter us into this competition where people vote and stuff. And Rick and I were going, nah, man, you can't ask people to vote and stuff, you know, it's not cool. Anyway, they did it, and we won this competition. They have 900 bands around the world, and we won and got to play there again. And that was just, it was mega. It was really good. And they just treat you so well, and there's no rock star stuff. Everyone's out the back, and you know, you go, oh, this is the guy from Twisted Sister, or this is the guy from this and that, and everyone's like, here you go, mate. Everyone's very cool. So it's a lot different than what I thought it would be.
So my producer tells me that you don't use Perth musicians anymore. You're now using German.
Yeah, not because I've got anything. I wish, you know, the band stayed together.
Oh, that's not the way he was telling me.
But. No, but he wouldn't. He's trying to stir you up to stir me up.
Okay.
But, well, basically what happened is about 3 or 4 years ago, the scene here in Perth was just untenable for me. I just wasn't getting enough work. Yeah. And I didn't want to start another profession now I mean, I've always been full-time. I think I worked in the bar for maybe a year.
That was my next question.
18.
What other jobs have you done throughout your life?
Yeah, I'm a cocktail barman, qualified.
Okay, qualified.
I can shake up whatever you like. Yeah, I love it. I love that job.
Yeah.
But I did that at the lodge at Rotto when I was there. But that's the only other job I ever had. And then since then, I've always played music.
I'll cross that question out.
I wanted to keep being a professional player full-time. And that didn't work for everyone. So when I moved over, Lee came, Rick stayed. Then Lee since started a family in Perth, so he's back here. And
so it's economics, family, whole pile of stuff.
And it's kind of not a family. I mean, you know, you live in a flat and you're out every night, and it's. I mean, I'm engaged now and I live with my fiancée and everything's cool. But the first 2 years was Lee and I were living in a little flat in the middle of Hamburg, 88 steps up.
Wow.
And walking to gigs and playing every night. And it was great. It's awesome fun, but it's not, you got to kind of like that thing.
So does your partner come back with you this time? Or
she just went back to Hamburg now, but she comes for a bit of sun and then goes back.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, favourite band of all time?
Oh, that's a harsh question. Really difficult.
Do you want to phone a friend? Or
you can have a 50-50.
Yeah, I can give you
No, I mean, like, anything from Little Feat, Steely Dan, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, all of those. I don't know if I could pick one.
No worries. I totally understand.
But just anything that's good.
Yeah. What was the favourite, maybe Perth band you saw live?
Favourite Perth band I saw live was, I mean, I used to see my dad play, you know, I remember as a kid at Waikiki, he was in a band with Dana, with the late, great Paul Marinovich singing, and Jimmy Cook.
Yeah.
Actually, Jimmy Cook, I did a gig with him at Right Nest, and he comes to me with a CD.
A name. I just got to ring that.
Oh, he's such a nice guy.
Yes.
I love playing with him. And he said, "Oh, Michael, in 1971, went to Albert's Tavern, and your dad was playing in a three-piece. It was Paul Young, it was Hendrix on bass, I think it was, and Dad playing keyboard and Hammond, and Jimmy was going to join the band. So he come to the gig and he recorded it on reel-to-reel. And then it was in 71, so it was before I was born. And then he comes to the gig at Rottnest. He goes, I hear you might want to listen to this. And it was my dad, who's like 23, and he's unbelievable. I couldn't believe how good he was. I couldn't believe how good he was. He was really playing really great and singing so good.
I had Alan Lyford on the show a while ago, and he knows your dad very well. He was telling me the story about when you were first born, and you know.
I was out when Jerry Marsden put a cigarette in my mouth, and my mum wanted to punch him out. Was that story? Yeah. So I've got a photo of Al holding me like that at the Perth Royal Show. He's got a cast on his arm.
Yeah.
He did some damage to his arm. I don't know. I think he was playing guitar then, and then he became a bass player. He was with Wendy.
I
remember Wendy.
Oh wow!
I used to call it Windy. I don't know.
Okay.
And that band was Cliff Toll, Kenny Barker.
Yeah.
Al.
Well, Kenny Barker was just a really good friend as well.
Mate. Kenny, and then all the guys, you know, used to watch them. George Janicki, John Meyer, Paul Felton, you know, monster players. I used to go and see them all the time. John Houston.
Yeah.
Like just a kid watching these guys. Oh my God, how good is everybody?
Yeah.
It's cool.
And it's funny when you get on stage with the people as well and start playing with them.
I don't play turn the guitar.
So I got to ask you this question: if you were stranded on a deserted island, what album would you take with you? Only one.
Little Richard's Greatest Hits.
Great.
A compilation. I wrote something about that the other day because I was sitting with a friend. I was just listening to it, and it was like Lucille has just got the best feel. Yeah, it's just so on. And then one of my first albums, I think, was Lucille, the '78, and then The Girl Can't Help It. I think it was the B-side.
Didn't he used to burn his piano as well?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he did. Didn't he? He just set fire to his piano.
He might as well have. He was just, I don't know, his voice and. The way he did it, and that gospel. I mean, I like James Brown too, Stevie Wonder, that whole thing. But Little Richard, just I don't know. He had the band and that kind of jazz tension. It was like a rock.
It was like a real heavy metal version of piano.
Yeah, it was mighty, and just his singing was inspiring.
So, what's your favourite TV show growing up?
Doctor Who, Tom Baker years.
Yeah. Okay.
John Pertwee was cool. But then Tom Baker. And then David Tennant, did a pretty good job. But I still like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was... I don't know, it was good. Would you like a jelly baby?
Have you got some?
In the back.
Go and get them. Al, can you go and get the jelly babies, Scott?
Oh, God, yeah.
Didn't know you brought those with you.
No. Well, they're in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've always got to have them.
So, do you have any unfulfilled ambitions? Being so young, you must have.
No.
There's nothing in there.
He stole them. They were in there before. Unfulfilled ambitions. Only just to be able to keep playing until I'm dead and just make a living out of playing. Yeah. I mean, it might be a modest living, but as long as I'm doing what I like doing and I don't have to, I'm not forced to stop and do something else. Yeah. I'd be happy with that.
Mm. Yeah. You don't want to make those drinks anymore.
I do that now, but just for fun, and I like doing it. But it's actually a really good job if you got that kind of headspace. Yeah. It's up, it's entertaining, it's creative. Yeah. And there's a lot of soloing involved. Yeah. So what? I don't know what I want. Oh, what do you like? Fruity drinks? You like milky drinks? You like this? You like that? Okay, well, let's go. What do you think about that? It's like it's cool.
Love it. So, what would you put on your gravestone?
My name spelled correctly would be good.
Vdelli.
It's Vdelli. I had a new one the other week down at the Orient, but anyway.
Tell me about that.
What, the spelling?
Yeah.
It had about 11 letters.
So you were gigging and they advertised you?
Yeah, I've been playing there for 25 years.
And they spelled your name 11 letters.
Like it's
disgraceful, isn't it?
No, well, I didn't realise I've been playing the Orient for 25 years. Wow. First time I played there, and we've had a great summer down there. But yeah, I think one of the people didn't know the band. And it was pretty fun. I said, Rick, there's a new one. So I got photos of them. But
they must have changed because they used to have the greatest amount of stabbings in Australia of any
I
hotel.
used to remember loading in after the Sneakers played there. They used to play Friday nights and Powershift to play Saturdays, and there'd be kind of broken glass stuck with blood on the floor, and we have this crunching sound as you're wheeling your quad box in.
Love it.
Special place. But it's really nice now. They've changed it, yeah.
So do you collect anything?
No, not really. I'm kind of in the moment guy. I'm not really into photos, and I kind of, I suppose, by default collect guitars and amps and stuff just because I enjoy them. But I don't have any kind of weird... I don't have like stamps or badges.
No, but collecting photos and guitars, I mean...
No, I don't collect photos.
No?
No. They make me sad.
Okay.
Yeah, I look at
Facebook, you got all those photos.
Well, I think your brain can't remember everything. So I think memories are meant to fade, I think. So when you see a photo, it's not natural to see something from that long ago. Anything that's important you remember and the rest you forget. I've only got so much space on this hard drive.
Love it. So, can you recommend anyone that you'd like to come on the show, or suggest anyone you think should come on and talk to us?
Oh, you got to, if you got time or the inclination, give the old man a call, I reckon.
Yeah, well, he's on the list.
He's on the list.
He's definitely on the list.
Oh,
So Al's probably being a little bit funny there, getting you in before your dad, I'd say. But,
it's my turn to cut the path. Yeah, he played with us 8 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it was last night.
It was last night. Come on, don't
and he's still got it. He's funny. He sings great. He plays great. And he's inspiring, and people like him.
There was a few brass players that joined you as well.
Paul Millard and Ben Hodgkins. I never met Ben before.
Trumpet player.
Met him on stage. Yeah. Paul goes, I've got a mate here with the trumpet.
Shit before the shovel.
You'll get.
That's what
he's got. Like horse before the cart?
Yeah, shit before the shovel. He could have said horse before the cart. But
I saw that.
No, he's moved. You saw it, didn't you?
It doesn't matter.
See what I get distracted with?
That's not the first thing I've had.
Unbelievable.
You're doing well.
What are you laughing at, Strawny? He's a cult hero. No one really has ever seen Strawny. But
I've seen Strawny.
Well, I know you have.
Seen cannot be unseen.
None of our viewers can see him. So, okay, last question. Can you tell us something, and you don't have to answer this, you can phone a friend if you want, but can you tell us something about yourself that nobody knows? You haven't told anyone before? Something you want to share with us? Something that...
I thought about playing a Strat the other night.
You know, that really hurts. That really cuts. It cuts. I mean, that's all I play.
I know.
You know, I mean, come on, Michael. Jesus. Well, that's the end of this interview. Look,
that was really cool fun.
Mate, thanks for coming in. Really love your stories, and thanks for joining us and giving us an insight into your
my pleasure.
Les Paulism. We're going to go now. We're going to see some clip with a Les Paul, not a Strat.
No, it's not. It's a Martin acoustic.
Is it a Martin acoustic?
Yeah, it's got no dots either.
Oh, okay. No worries.
He must be good. It's got no dots.
Thanks for joining us again. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye.
dark and lonely place.